I want you to imagine, you can close your eyes if you like. Imagine you had oatmeal, you had dry oatmeal, and in your other hand you had, say, granular sugar. And then you pour that out and maybe you grab some, rice. If you close your eyes and feel them, you could tell they had different textures, right? But what if I told you kick drums have texture too? You want to learn something today? Let's go! Welcome to Midweek Service provided by the Church Sound Podcast. This is our version of tech news with your host, Prentiss Thompson. Have you ever wondered, how do I mic a drum set, or what about getting audio to my live stream? We're here for you. This is tech news, new product reviews, and everything you need to know about what you need to know. Welcome to Midweek Service.
You're gonna learn today.
Welcome to another edition of the Church Sound Podcast, Midweek Service. I'm your humble host, Mr. Prentiss Thompson. And we do this every week. We do product training, product reviews, everything you need to know about what you need to know to continue to make your church service completely amazing. So we're going to talk about kick drums in a really different fashion. And the reason is because a lot of times when you're working on records, I can speak for myself as a music producer. Those of you who don't know, I'm a music producer. My professional producer name is PL Sweet. Produced a lot of records, from reggae artists to hip-hop artists to gospel artists to Christian hip-hop artists. Probably most notable was Sean Slaughter, D-Mob, Kent Jones, a lot of artists. And over the years, I have gathered a huge library of kick drums that I use for different reasons, for different emotions and different vibes that I want to get from into the music. So I say that to say this because a lot of churches now are using Ableton, they're using Final Cut Pro or any other program to play back, even an MPC or a hardware machine to play back tracks. And a lot of times those tracks may have kick drums. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But you can create a mess if you don't understand what's going on in the bottom. A complete mess. So I want you to take a listen to a few different kick drums. Pretty different, right? You got thumpers, you got boom and boomers and yappers, and I have different names for them because they have that different character to them. Now, when you're talking about live instrumentation, especially a drummer, the first thing you need to consider is the size of the kick drum. The size of the kick drum and where the mic is placed, whether it's outside or inside or both, because you're trying to capture a tone. The next thing you need to consider is the type of beater that the drummer is using. The type of beater could be a wood beater, it could be a soft beater, it could be a kind of one in the middle, something with a bigger head, a sharper head. Then you have to consider the drummer. And the reason why I say that is because every drummer plays different. Their attack is different. Their pressure they put on the one or the two, depending on how quick their foot is, depending on how accurate they are, depends on the type of tonality you'll get from a kick drum. Once you combine that with the size of the kick drum, because you can go from a 16, like for a small jazz kit, to like a 21. totally different sound. A really long swing, jazz, kick drum, something really tight. So really depends on the sound you want. So when I say that, it's because sometimes when you're playing back tracks and you're playing over them, the kick drum can get messy. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you have to build up from the foundation. And now your kick drum, first of all, should not be lower in tonality than the bass. Either the bass instrument, it could be keyboard, or the bass guitar. Should not be lower than it. The rumble in the room should be the tone of the bass instrument. Now, if you're doing hip hop music and you have 808s, different. It's going to be lower. It's going to be in the same tonality. But if you're playing it in a room that don't have subs, you cannot take advantage of that. So that's another thing you need to factor in. So before we continue, I need you to take a listen to this.
We're about to introduce the third layer of the Church Sound podcast, the perspective. The first installment is a conversation. Midweek service is the technical aspects, and the perspective is the spiritual aspects. My name is Pastor Caleb Winley, and I look forward to sharing what God has shared with me. Join with me on this journey, the perspective, airing bi-weekly starting March 5th, 2022.
Pretty cool, right? Shouts out to Pastor Caleb Winley. We've been working on the perspective for about 2 months now. It's almost ready to go. We're very, very excited about it. Make sure you like, subscribe, review, and check it out. It's going to come on the same exact channel. Just to recap. Okay, if you're listening via audio, it's going to drop audio only. So it's not going to be a video. It's not going to be on YouTube. It's going to be audio only, which means so the Church Sound Podcast, our interview show, is Tuesday. Midweek service, the show you're listening to now, Thursday. It's also a video for midweek service. And audio only for the perspective, bi-weekly, starting March 5th. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a weekly show, and I'm very excited to have 3 releases in a week for you guys, for you to glean from the information that we give you. We're dealing with pastors and leaders, and then from the technical information, and then from the spiritual aspect of things inside of an AVL department. So make sure you go to the show notes. There's a couple of things in there you can check out. Make sure you join the newsletter, like, subscribe, review, like I said before. I'm going to say it like I always say it. Can you say it with me? I will see you. Yeah, you. In the Matrix.